Today, I want to talk to you guys about the difference between talking about it and doing something about it. I have realized in so many of my conversations with people, with coaching clients, with whoever it is, that people are so tired and overwhelmed. And the reality is you are focusing on the things that are not important to you in your life. You are talking about the things that are important to you and you're not actually doing it. So, welcome back to the Say Yes Anyway podcast. These are things in your heart that you know that you know that you know that you need to do, and you're just not doing it. And so, now is the time to say yes. Now is the time to stand up for those things that really matter to you. Now is the time to even get crystal clear on what those are, even if you may not know, but really, I know deep down in your heart you do. So, I hope this isn't just inspiring. I hope that this really takes you into aligned action today, that you can leave this episode and you can go and take action on something in your life that is going to make a difference, that you can stop talking about it. You could go be about it, go do something. So I was actually voice noting with a friend earlier today, the past couple of days, and she was asking me about some hardships that I had been facing. And um, I have not shared all this publicly yet, and I'll get more into it when I can share more information publicly. But I had one of the hardest years of my entire life last year, and where my health, due to a specific circumstance, which I'll share sometime soon, happened. And I was in so much pain, so bad that it was excruciating. I thought that maybe there was something wrong with my spine, brain. It was getting worse and worse and worse after months, crying, debilitating, feeling like I, would have all these crazy episodes, lots of fear, anxiety, panic, almost having panic attacks, fainting, crazy stuff that I have never experienced in my life. And it was debilitating. And so I just want to say one thing is like, I actually understand what it is like to have my body just in complete turmoil, physically and also mentally, excruciating, where I cannot focus, I cannot look at screens, I cannot think, emotionally, feeling anger towards myself, feeling different resentments, feeling sadness, feeling regret, feeling, well, maybe not even necessarily regret, but feeling so many different things that are spiraling, and me wondering, am I ever going to get through this? And also financially, getting to a place where I had to stop my business. And I had times, no joke, where my credit card was completely full, and I'd go to the grocery store to see if I could get groceries, and I couldn't sometimes. So I really understand when it feels like everything is falling apart, and I have all these dreams and these goals and these things in my life, and I just feel like I'm in survival. So, one, if you're in that place, please know I understand. I know what it's like to feel hopeless. I know what it's like to feel like it's never ending. I know what it's like to not be able to move forward with certain things that have been happening in your life. And so I just acknowledge you. I see you. I feel you. I'm with you, and I was you. And it's not over. I'm still on a journey, which I'm sure I'll share more in other episodes. But now, looking back, I'm able to be proud of the woman that I am, because I took my health and my healing like my number one job. That was my number one job. And so when we're talking about this place of the difference between talking about, just talking about it versus being about it and doing something about it, first, I want to share, when we make promises to ourselves and to others, it builds trust with ourselves and to others. So, for example, say with my health, like I'm not feeling good, whatnot, and I'm having to see myself in a whole new way. Like were times where like I couldn't go to the gym, right? I couldn't do my normal workouts. I still can't lift weights. Like it's a real thing. And at the same time, I remember having to change these promises to myself of, okay, if I can do one thing each day, in my physical well-being, working toward my healing, then I have won. So for example, whether that have been going to the chiropractor, whether that was going to my osteopath, whether that was doing EMDR therapy, whether that was going on a walk in the park and sitting in quiet, whether that was meditating or praying or doing a little yin yoga practice or prayer, sitting and journaling and praying. So I realized that I knew that it was a priority for me to focus on my well-being to get my health back, because I shifted from this place of I have to, work out a certain way. I have to be able to do my weight training. I have to be able to do my um, yoga handstands. I have to be able to, do all this stuff in a certain way. And I changed it with this season of my life to, at least if I take one of these steps, that I'm nurturing who I am now so I can come back to this aligned, healthy version of myself, then I'm doing it. I'm not just talking about it, I am doing it. So I want you to think about what are the promises that you're making to yourself with where it is that you want to be, right? And that could also go for making a podcast. That can go for writing a book. That can go for starting your business. That can go for expanding your business. Whatever that thing is, when you make a promise to yourself in a different season, so not the same version that you were 5 years ago, maybe not even 6 months ago, but the version that you are now, where is it that you want to be? What do you want to be doing? Who is it that you want to actually be in the being state of you? So if it is to start a podcast, right? You take one step instead of talking about it and be about it. What do you have to do? Well, just go ahead and buy yourself a mic. Even if you don't have a super duper fancy one, go and buy yourself a microphone. Go and get on the platform. Podcast for Spotify for podcasters. It used to be called Anchor. Super easy. Get on there. Start doing something on Riverside. Get your first guest or do your first solo episode. You could even record it if you really wanted to on your iPhone. Get on your iPhone, do a voice recording, and then upload that to Spotify for podcasters or whatever platform you decide to use, and then have it go out. Like, just launch the thing. It's actually really not that hard, but you need to, instead of say, oh, I want to start a podcast, and you keep telling everybody like this vision that you have, go ahead and take the first next step. So the next point I want to make is about small actions matter more than taking the massive strides. So I remember when I wrote a book. So I wrote a book. It's called Lead Your Whole Life: How Cultivating Wholeness Transforms the Way You Live and Lead. Now, I remember talking to some friends because I had hundreds and hundreds of pages and notes of stuff that I had studied and gone through and experiences and everything, leadership, whatnot. And I would tell my friends about it, and they were like, Jessica, you need to put this into a book. This could help so many people. So to be honest, I didn't actually come from a place of like, oh my gosh, I want to write a book. I actually knew that one day I would. I felt that. But what really happened is I had all this stuff that had been on my laptop or in journals or whatnot. And I was like, man, I am hoarding all this stuff to myself. Why not share it with others that it can help? And so then through that, I asked myself questions like, okay, well, what are these small actions that I need to take, even if it's, not like this massive thing that I'm thinking about the very last step. I'm first thinking about the next right step. So I phoned a friend who is a coach in helping people write their books. And they were so sweet and gave me like 15 minutes to chat with them about their journey with writing their books and then what they think that I should do. And I took that like gold. So my first step was to call somebody that had done it before and been there before. I took all the notes. I found an editor I found someone to design my cover, and then I found someone to design the inside. I self-published, and so I figured out how to actually do that. Put it on Amazon, all of those things. I did a whole launch with my community, got it out there. It was amazing. And that probably took me from maybe 6 months or so to do. So I just want to let you know that, and I remember it also not being so stressful. I know that book writing can be extremely stressful. It can, and it also doesn't have to be, you know? And if you do take those small actions, that momentum is going to move the needle forward so much. I remember writing every single day. I remember even if I put in my calendar, it was like an hour to 2 hours a day. It was me focusing, like all out focusing. Sometimes it was more. Sometimes it was like 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day. Sometimes it was like 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night. So you will find your rhythm, but take those small actions because then it's not as scary, you know? And then when you take a couple of steps, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, I can do this. I'm making momentum. This is amazing. Of course, there's going to be some setbacks. There's going to be some hard things that happen. I do understand that. So just know everybody goes through those challenging moments, discouragement, self-doubt, imposter syndrome. I had those. Many people have those. Yet those small actions matter as you continue to move. So I want you to think about your own life and why you haven't started, fill in the blank, whatever it is. And I want you to ask yourself, what are you afraid of? Okay. What are you afraid of? Because usually there's some sort of fear that is connected to why you haven't actually done the thing. Why the idea of talking about it is so much more amazing, because when you talk with other people and they're like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And you're like, yeah, you could talk about it all that you want, but then you don't have to be responsible. You don't have to be responsible for that idea or that dream because you haven't taken action on it yet. But when you move toward it, all of a sudden it becomes real. And then when it becomes real, then you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to change things in your life, because that means that you have to start doing things differently than how you've been doing things before or the way that you've been showing up. Yeah, I remember when I was so terrified. I was getting my coaching certification. And of course, I actually had gone through this leadership training. It changed my life. I had a coach. I went through the first one, the second one, then the third one. And the third one was a 6-month process. It was super intense. I had a coach. I hated her, which that was my own problem in the beginning. Now I look back and I'm like, okay, she's exactly what I needed. That's why she was paired with me. That's what I needed to be able to get through my biggest dreams and goals. And she helped me get there. And after that, though, I realized they had me coach the program because they were like, you are amazing. You'd be so good at this. I did not think that I would be good at it, but because I'm a person of growth, I was like, okay, I'll do it. While I was doing it, I was coaching these people to create their wildest dreams. I was with them for 6 months. I could see their fears, doubts, frustrations, imposter syndrome, tiredness, weariness, burnout, all of the things. And still, I walked with them and I coached them and I got to be their biggest cheerleader, and I got to get them to the place of seeing how incredible they really are and that they could actually make this dream reality, this vision, like, come to life. And who they became on the other side, they were so proud of themselves, and I was so proud of them. The reality, though, was before I got my coaching, or while I guess I was getting my coaching certification, all of those thoughts were popping up of, who are you to do this? You're not great at it. There's so many other people that are better than you. You don't know how to start one of these businesses. You were a hairdresser and a fitness coach for so long. Who's to say that you even know how to do this online business thing now, or to, build this sort of community in a whole new way, or walk people through their biggest dreams and setbacks and failures and what's possible, all of this stuff. And those fears were so real. So I almost, didn't even go through with it. Even if I really tossed up the thought of me staying and doing hairdressing and continuing with what I was really good at, while I knew that my calling was elsewhere. Like, I knew that I was called and anointed for the coaching work and to dive deep into people's lives in that sort of way and bring and pull out the fullness of who that person was. Yet I knew that it was going to take changing in my own life. So for you, I want you to think of what is something, again, what is that fear that you are afraid of? It could be the unknown. For me, again, I did not know what it was going to be like on the other side of me saying yes to being a full-time, coach and hosting retreats and things like that, because I had never done it before. So what if I failed? What if it didn't work out? Where would the money come from? All of these things. And at the end of the day, I had to bet on myself. So nobody is going to step in and save your life for you. Nobody is going to live out your life for you. Yes, you can have encouragement. Yes, you can have coaches. Yes, you can have mentors. Yes, you can have best friends, cheerleaders, all of that. And nobody can do the work for you. It has to be you. So what you can do is choose to go through that fear, because no matter what, the fear is always going to be there. So you might as well go through it. You might as well go towards the goal, towards the dream, rather than letting the fear paralyze you and then wonder, what if I would have gone after it? What if I would have done it? That regret, living with that regret, is so much bigger than actually going forward with the thing and doing it. So, and that's what a lot of people, there's studies. When I say a lot of people, there are studies that those that are on their deathbed actually say that they wish that they would have lived for themselves rather than for everyone else and gone after everything that they desired, and that they regret not doing that. So I don't want you to live in regret. I don't want you to be somebody that lives that way. And it's okay if your world has to change. We are ever evolving humans. We need to evolve. Now, the last thing that I want to remind you of is, as you go through with this, as you face your fears, as you continue to be really uncomfortable, you cannot do it alone. There's no way that I could have done it alone. Right away, I'm like, remember how I told you that I called that person that had written a book before? I knew I couldn't do it alone. My first thing was to go and ask for support and help. So ask for your help, seek mentorship, seek guidance, seek like-minded people, your best friends, but those people who are actually going to believe in you. And one big thing is, when you are going to the next level, you're going to have more people that don't understand it. You're going to have more people that don't understand why you would want to do that, or thinking that you're crazy or it doesn't make any sense on paper. It could even be your best friends. It could even be your family. So you need to choose wisely who you let in for mentorship, guidance, and support. Okay. So I would say, ask somebody that's been there, who has actually been through the thing that it is that you are going through or about to go through. Go and ask them for support. And that's actually one of the biggest, for me too. I've joined like quite a few masterminds or coaching programs. The first one I ever did, it was definitely way more than I could afford, but I figured out a way and I paid in full. Was that scary? Heck yeah. But I knew that I needed to bet on myself, and this was my only option. I couldn't do it alone. I needed the help and support, and I did it. And then same thing as I continued to grow, the next level, next, mentor, and for the season of life that I was in and where I was going. So, and I still do the exact same thing. I believe that if you're going to go to the next level, make sure that you are seeking mentorship, guidance, coaching. And that's a huge reason why I created the Dreams to Reality Mastermind. People ask me all the time, how the heck have you done everything that you've done in your life? As I stated before, I have not always lived a perfect life. It has not been easy. It has not been rainbows and butterflies. And I will say that I know what it's like to be around like-minded people, to be guided, to be coached, to be cheerleaded. Cheerleaded, is that a word? To be cheerled, to have cheerleaders? I don't know. Whatever, however you say it. And it is so important to be in that space that I wanted to make sure that I actually wish that I would have had this exact format and this exact mastermind, this exact program that I created. It's a 6-month high touch mentorship where we meet weekly on Zoom calls with our group. These are all purpose driven, heart led women that have a business that want to expand to the next level, that are not coming from the burnout, not coming from striving, not coming from a place of where they were 6 months ago or 5 years ago, but the new version of themselves that they want to expand their reach. They want to expand their mission. They want to expand their purpose. They want to take that big God-sized dream that's in their heart and in their soul and go after it with courage and grace at the same time. So it's a very integrated and holistic, geez, words are hard today, very holistic program where we focus on you as the person, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. How are you doing? What's going on in your personal world? Because that affects your business life. And then we go into business strategy, soul aligned action. And we get into the nitty gritty of what it is that you're expanding and how to do that. So you have my guidance for the whole 6 months. You have our whole entire group. We have guest speakers that come in. You have a group chat that is going on 24/7. We have a sweet spot where you actually get to teach your genius to the group. There's so many different things that we get to do together because we cannot do it alone. So if you are one of those people that you're like, man, I've been talking about it for so long, and there is a fear inside of you of just going after it, or maybe you don't even know what it is that is holding you back fully, but you know that you are just stalling and waiting around for who knows what, guess what? Nobody's going to come save you. It's time for you to take responsibility for your own life and where you're going. Send me an email, jess@jessdahl.com. You can also go to jessdahl.com. You can go to the Dreams to Reality website on there and send me a message. You can go to my Instagram, JessDahl_. Send me a message. I would love to chat with you and see if this is for you, because my calling is to bring people like you to the next level and to live that not just talking about it, but to live that God-sized dream, to be the most full and expansive version of yourself, no matter what season of life you're in, whether you're in the place that I was in, that I was explaining, where it's a really hard season, or whether you are thriving. All is welcome here, as long as you are committed to who you are, to your growth, to that vision that is on your heart, and you're ready to make it reality. Then I am here for you. Okay, I love you. I'm so proud of you. Please share this episode with a friend. Please go ahead and also subscribe, leave a review. This helps so much if you can do that, because then we can get these podcast episodes out to more people. And I cannot wait to see you on the next episode.